Alright guys, welcome indeed back to more Path of Exile. So this is part 3 of like the endgame, or technically part 13 of our playthrough. But what we're going to be showing off now is the next set of the trials, and I'll also explain kind of like the skill tree and kind of what I've been putting my points into. So starting right off, in order to get the final Labyrinth, like this is where we get the like super class, and this is where we're going to be doing the last one. So this one is actually found in maps. So randomly you're just going to have to do these maps, and you'll have to get these trials to spawn in. Now you can go in just like before, and you would just get to the end of it, and then an offering of the goddess would drop, and that's an item. Now you can alternatively purchase this item. I usually end up buying these, but I wanted to at least show you guys the mechanic of it. I also want to go ahead and mention some other new things. So as you progress, you've probably came across this lady named Cassia, and how it kind of works is a tower defense game where a bunch of monsters come by and you just defend, and eventually you'll finish it. I don't even know if you actually have to do one completely, but if you happen to see one, you've probably interacted with it just to see what it was. But all you gotta do is kill the monsters, and you can summon monsters. I'm not gonna go into too much depth for this mechanic because it's more so just like explaining certain aspects of the game. But if you want to look up a guide for doing Blight, that is the name of the mechanic. But I'll briefly talk about the enchantment system, because what happens is you're going to be getting these oils. Now, what you can do with these oils, you can invite her to your hideout or find her on certain like areas. I think she might be at the coastal hideout, but nonetheless, you can add her to your hideout via just going here and going into the decorations, and then you just type in cast. Oh, because can you not type in the word? Okay. Well, anyways, you would just go to edit. If you have her, you would go to decorations, and like we already have her here, but you can invite her to your hideout also by clicking on her in town. But what she allows you to do is anoint items. So you'll see over here, if we take my amulet and I put it in right here, I can put in these different colors of oils, and it'll give me some sort of benefit over here. So you can see this one grants us 10 to all elemental resistances. That's nice. If I swap this one out, it does this. Minions have a chance to block, attack damage, and spell damage. Maybe I want that one. Maybe you want that increased maximum mana. This one's actually not too bad. But the thing that's nice with this is you're able to kind of see what you want. So if I was to open up my passive tree and type in Dreamer, I can see exactly the oil colors. I don't know where exactly this one is on the tree. Some of them, by the way, are not on the tree. Dang. This one might not be on the tree. There are some that aren't on the tree. I'm just going to anoint this one now. But if I saw something that I want, like one that I actually do want, and you might want to if you're following this as playthrough, but if you're playing this build, is Death Attunement. So you'll see it costs what it is, it's a clear, and the red oil is called crimson, and the white one is called silver. But depending on the one that you want, they may cost more, or they'll be like more rare. Gold is basically the more expensive one, but that's kind of how this anoint system works. And you should always have your amulet anointed. I'm just going to do this one real quick just to show you guys how it works. So I already have everything in here, and I could benefit from having 20% increased mana. It's not like that big of a deal. It's like, it's a nice little benefit. So that's how we anoint an item. You definitely want to do that. In terms of upgrades, I did actually get this for a couple Chaos Orbs. I paid 4 Chaos Orbs, got an upgrade on my shield. All it does is give us life. So it gives us the +1 to all lightning spell gems, and then it also gives us life. What we do want to do, though, is get some sort of shield for specifically getting life % recovery on block. But that's going to be super expensive, so I'm not going to be able to buy it right now. But in terms of gear, we really haven't gotten anything that's super expensive. I spent a couple Chaos Orbs, got some extra rings that have, like this one, it just has, it has the same amount of life that we had before, but it has damage to recoup its life, and it was like really cheap. So I decided to pick that up. I believe we did get a better amulet, so it still has the plus to all level, but it gave us chaos resistance. So I threw that in there. I think this gave us extra chaos resistance. Again, just look for your rings with resistances. This was like 5 Chaos Orbs. And the thing is if you're not able to get your currency and you're still having some troubles maybe getting maps, you could do Heist or Excellent. Always check Kyrak. He's got maps that you can purchase, so you can continue doing more maps. But once you're about like level 75-ish, I would say, you could probably do the last lab, and that's what we're going to do right now. So what we can do, like I said, you can do the little trial where you run through like the spike traps and all those things, or you could just purchase the item. So the item is actually called the Offering to the Goddess. I haven't actually shown it off before, but it will drop at the very end of the trial that you do. So I'm just gonna go purchase one from someone for 2 chaos orbs. So I'm gonna copy and paste, and what we're searching for is we just type in Offering to the Goddess and hit search, and hopefully this guy will invite us to the game and we can go purchase it. I'm gonna go get my chaos orbs ready. So I've got like 8 chaos orbs right now, and they're about 2 chaos. They'll eventually go down to 1, but it doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal in terms of like the price difference. So sometimes people don't respond, and it's normal. So basically we're gonna keep all this in just so you guys have a full real experience here. And I'm just going down the list and just hitting copy to profile, and then just pasting over here. Oh, that guy is AFK. Awesome. And we are just gonna go down until someone actually does respond. It's kind of annoying doing this, but your other option is to do the trial. Sometimes it could be faster to do the trial, to be honest. But I'm just going to do it like this. I mean, it only takes like 2-3 minutes to do it if I was to manually do it. Oh, there we go, finally. And we are good. And so now we're going to be doing the last lab. And we got the Offering to the Goddess, and that's what it looks like. Now, important thing with this, when you do these things, and I'll also show you the passive tree because that's kind of important too, right? Maybe like before we go in, just so you have sort of a reference. But in the very first video, I also linked like the full like skill tree and stuff just in case anyone wanted it. But there are times where like I'll spec into something and then I'll be like, oh, I'm kind of missing out on more life or whatever the case may be. And as far as our Atlas passive goes, I'm gonna actually grab these strong boxes. I think they're good just to get more monsters to spawn in, which will be kind of nice. But what I really like to grab first is Stream of Consciousness, and then I get these Shrine Nodes. I like grabbing these for the Atlas tree. Now for the other passive tree, and feel free if I'm going too fast to like pause, what I did get was increased effective offerings. I also was just getting more life down here, and I actually picked up this set of nodes. So I got extra mana, but extra chance to block, because we're going to be scaling a block now as well. And I also got this 10% chance to recover 10% mana when we use a skill. It's like kind of okay. I was thinking since we were using it like this scepter to trigger a socketed skill, like this would proc off of it. I'm actually not positive if it works or not. Feel free to not get that if you don't want it. But I do think that Mystic Bulwark is okay. So what it does, it gives us a chance to block, and it gives us mana regen per 1% chance to block spell damage. So the more block we have, the more mana regen we get. We're also going to be specking into this over here, where we're going to be getting extra block chance, and also a Safeguard gives us extra energy shield when we block spell damage. And then there's a notable a mastery here where we get to gain life and mana when we actually block. We're going to basically be capped, so we're going to have 75% chance to just not take any damage, which is really good. That's something we're going to be working on, but we're going to have to use Bone Offering in order to get that effect. So when we go over here, it says we should be about level 75, and it's going to cost, so make sure you bring this with you. And remember, if you die on this thing, you got to do it all over again. You got to go either do it in a map, or you just got to go and just buy it off someone. If we fail, I'll go buy it off someone again. But let's go do it. This one's a little bit more difficult. It's got a lot more stuff in terms of content. But usually you're going to start off and you're going to need to get a key. So let's go ahead and get the key. Oh, I also have my flasks on auto. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But all it comes down to is I have an enchantment where it used when charges reach full. I should probably actually modify this to actually have some extra benefit. But you can buy these off of players too sometimes for really cheap. I got one of these for 5 chaos. So what it does is it has an enchantment, so they will start using themselves. I don't have to hit the button anymore. They just do it whenever the charges reach full is when they activate. And it's a really nice feature. I love it. I get it every single time. Let's see if there's a door. At some point, there's probably going to be some sort of like blockage. This also has a silver key. So we're going to go back to the other one because that area just has a key. And this lab, you can actually get a really good enchantment. Unfortunately, I don't have a good item to put on the enchantment, realistically. But that's okay. We could do this again if we want to. Usually I don't run these for enchantments. Some people will just do this all day, just so they can try to get an enchantment to roll on it. But we're specifically looking for an area where, okay, we can continue. But take this last one very slow. I'm probably going to be rushing through things, but thing is, I've been playing this game for a long time, and I'll explain. Yeah, I'll explain this later. Oh, we almost died right there. That was really, really close. It's because we were standing on that. I was trying to like mouse over my thing, but like that's why you got to pay attention in this one, man. All right, so that time crank makes things go slow, but there's a lot more traps in this one. They add like so many layers of things that just can ruin you. But if you don't happen to have the one that does autocast, because I know it's kind of expensive. I mean, 40 Chaos Orbs, it can take you a little bit to farm if you don't get lucky. But again, Heist is great for that. Alright, more. Hello, Roy. We're just doing the lab. You didn't miss anything too extreme. We didn't get any like good items in the most like recent times. But if you watch this YouTube, still streaming, so I'm not talking to myself. But oh, we should probably summon more zombies here. Let's get some more zombies out here, just so they can like maybe take you know, a hit. Make sure you move out of the way. He's still very deadly. We do have determination as the aura on us, but yeah, he just hits really hard for physical damage. But it's really the last fight that can become like really difficult. But with minions, you'll be okay. I'm just gonna resummon my zombies. I guess they died to the traps. So right now we're at 2. I think we can go up to like 7 zombies right now. And I'll explain the flask thing. We have a forbidden taste. You have to have max chaos res for this, but I have it. It says use when you take a savage hit. So what this is it does heals us for 90% of our life, but we start draining life as chaos damage. This is something if you're newer to the game, I always recommend people to get it. It prevents a lot of one-shots, and the reason why I say one-shots is because a lot of time you think you die in one shot, but it's actually a series of several big hits. And that's why I always play. I've played with this thing ever since it came out, and I love it. Oh wait, don't click on any of those things. Remember, if it does like freeze or something, you're GG'd. Especially in the room with like extra traps. We can actually summon some of our specters, just so we have like extra things. We also have Animate Guardian. Not that this thing will probably survive more than like a couple seconds anyways, but I did mention like getting those other gems to level them up. I'm still leveling up those gems. Animate Guardian, he'll be used later. He's really good, but like we have to be kind of rich to use him, because he's a minion that actually you get to build him. He's kind of like a Lego minion. You get to get items. You do sacrifice the items, and if he dies, you lose the items permanently, which really does suck. I hope they change it, but I kind of understand why they did that. Because otherwise, everyone would invest into him, and then be like, there's just no punishment, so just resummon him. But like this league specifically, like there's just too many dangerous things. So it'll be when we're like relatively rich, we'll get him. But even then, I think it's still like risky because he can't die very fast on certain like fights. All right, so next up we're here. We don't want the silver key. I mean, it's just for more rewards, but like we're really just here for the last ascendancy. But if you're not playing like like the Necromancer in terms of like endgame, you're just following this kind of like endgame guide. I highly recommend you guys to get spell suppression. If you can get it on the Necro, you technically can. Like, we're still running like this really bad armor. It's literally just 6 socket. But you can get spell suppression on your armor, your boots, your gloves. Yeah, it's great, because spell suppression, what that does is you want to get 100% spell suppression, and that just negates the spell damage you take by half, which is excellent. walk around till it's time. So you can push these buttons if you want to. I guess it removes a charge from the sorrow. Because basically you can get powered up and it helps. So when he does that, make sure you move. He has like a sound. Like he's relatively fair for a boss. And we got him. But like it should be relatively easy as long as you have determination. Like our physical damage, we have like 8,000 armor right now. And so we have 64% of that damage reduction, which is great. Okay, get rid of that thing if we can. See if we can just stand on it. I'm actually not even sure where we're supposed to go right here. Oh, whoa, whoa! There was like a nasty trap that just absolutely just destroyed us for a second. That's why I say, yeah, take these slow. You can see I almost died like 2 different times. It's just sometimes there's so much going on with like all the colors with the overlapping and stuff. Okay, we're safe now. Most of these monsters will not kill us. Like, oh, porcupine. We gotta watch out for those ones. Because when they die, they pop. But we have a decent amount of life right now. We have 5k and we're at level 78. And we don't even have like a Watcher's Eye yet. Our helmet could be way, way, way better. Looking into getting a Crown of the Inward Eye. It's just a really cheap item that gives us just lots of armor. Our current one has a decent amount of armor, but that one will give us like a bunch of life. I don't think this really does anything else. It's just life armor. Gives us some strength, some chaos res. But oh wait, let's check up on the map because you always gotta see. Okay, so this is for the silver door. I don't care about that. We're gonna go kind of to the right, so hopefully it'll be this way. Oh, maybe it's actually to the left. We're gonna go up. Nothing over here. Oh, some of these doors, like they take a second. There's like a trap. Looks like we're gonna have to go through these saw blades. And sometimes you'll notice that you can hit these switches, like you see this, like there's like a secret little like passageway over here. And we can get this, and this is gonna, it says players in the labyrinth will be affected by a massive shrine. That's actually great. So it's just like another like buff. So there are secrets in this lab. So what massive does, it gives us increased life, area effect, and size. So it's just like a free buff. There are like shortcuts that you can take, but you can kind of see them on the map. Like there's like a path through a wall. But I didn't like specifically look for that secret, but there are secrets in these little areas. It's actually a really cool mechanic. I never really farm it. But it can be worth it. You can run these for people. Like you can do the final lab for people and charge them to have you like do the lab for them. Because a lot of people, they don't want to do the final lab, or they actually cannot do it. Some characters cannot actually do damage in the game. I know that sounds weird, but it is indeed a thing. You should be very careful on opening up these things while like inside like this area, because you could die. But it's okay, I'm a professional. Oh sure, sure. Mankick, send me the clip. I'll definitely check it out after we finish this lab. What are we like, 18 minutes in? Okay. I think we're gonna go actually this way. I have a feeling that it's the other way. Usually like up is where you need to go. It's not always 100%, but like generally. Oh, okay, hold on. There's a lot of stuff over here. Again, sometimes it's just hard to see. Hopefully we don't get hit by one of those. Okay, we're good. We didn't get hit by any spikes. If we did, pop a potion. If you do want to make this easier, like, let's say you maybe died on it. You can drop the carrion golem and actually pick up a stone golem. You'll have to level it up a couple times, but like you just do a little bit more maps, level up a couple more times. I mean, I should be a-okay on this, but like the traps, no matter how tanky your character is, a lot of times it doesn't matter. There are ways to be completely immune to like all the damage from the traps, but like it's just a weird thing you got to do with ward, and it's another mechanic that would take like a long time to explain. But this is one of the more difficult ones. So I probably should have grabbed a granite flask, to be honest, but like we didn't do it. So we here. Okay, gotta be careful. Just waiting for him to do his like jump slam. Careful on standing too close to those, though. I hear it's charging up, moving. But these will respawn, but you gotta take them out fast because they make you take more damage if you stand too close to them. No. Okay, we got it. Pick up the treasure key, move on. There used to be a guy that had like reflect damage, but I think they removed him. He was a little bit cheap. All right, well we got. You can open up a treasure key that gives you more treasure keys. Woo! Look at all that. We got some stuff. All right. Oh, we got one piece of tabula rasa. Let's see. Currency. Which one are we gonna pick up? I pick up the ones that are actually like kind of worth it. Some of the other ones are just like not really worth picking up. All right. So now we get the Labyrinth. Okay. So now we have regenerate 2 life per second if we were hit recently. That's actually pretty good. I actually do want that one. Sometimes you can sell these enchantments. Now, you can't take them with you, but like you enchant an item that you want to sell. I'm going to actually throw, what is it? Scooter bots carry on? Okay. I want this one. Now it's going to say we don't have the dex, but it's because the boots give us the dexterity, then we can use the item. And then we're good to go. Okay, so now I get to resummon my stuff. And for the very final one that I want to get this, the Commander of Darkness. So now we have plus 30 resistances, and we have 30% increased damage. And the auras are actually going to increase our damage by quite a bit too, since we have like a bunch of auras activated. So we'll go from, let's say, 40k in terms of the sheet damage, 46. That's a big buff. Very nice stuff indeed, because every single aura gives us that attack and cast speed too, which is awesome. And now you'll see that our resistances are like way through the roof. So let me go ahead and actually go back. And we'll talk a little bit more about like, in terms of like what I've been doing to get some currency and stuff like that. So make sure we're still doing maps. At this point, we're about 30-ish in. And this is kind of just like going to be some checkups. Still make sure you do like the bonuses if you can. If you feel like it's too difficult, don't worry about it. This league is really difficult. But in terms of like other upgrades that I would really like to get, I get way better boots. These boots are actually terrible. It's just like, that was like the one thing that I saw that I'm like, okay, sure. You might have gotten some of these currencies. I've only gotten one so far, but there are ways to modify the implicit. So like if I hold Alt, you can see that this one doesn't have an implicit, but an implicit is where the item will always, almost no matter what, there are kind of some exceptions, but for the most part, it will always have that like increased rarity, because that's a gold ring. A amethyst ring will always have chaos resistance. So what this does is it removes that implicit and applies it with a new thing. I'm just going to use this one just to show you guys. There could be a good roll on this, so I'm going to go ahead and use this on this. This one doesn't have an implicit, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, we'll have to take it off to use it. But now we have 5% chance to poison on a hit. Is that useful for us? Absolutely not. But there are ones that can roll that are really good. One specific one that we would want to hit on it. It's like a one, I don't know, I think it was like 70 chance to get the one we want. The one we want is increased minion damage. However, what I would much rather do is actually buy a pair of gloves that already have plus minion damage on it. Then I would use an essence, and I would essence craft on it. I'll probably get into that later, but this can apply to a lot of different builds. It doesn't have to be minion, right? But let me go to my essence. The one that I would use is fear. So you can see this one gives us minion damage. If it's on gloves, minions can get 22 to 24% increased damage. The other one that's like, I think the highest is like 28 to 30 something. No matter what, basically, if you get the gloves that have like the minion damage on it, you will always get 50% minion damage if you just roll an Essence of Fear, the highest tier one. The highest tier Essence of Fear, they go down in price quite fast, but usually they're like just a couple chaos a piece. So what you do is you buy gloves. You can buy these gloves for anywhere, and depending on the build, right? If you're running something that you need to inflict like exposure on hit, like that's another fantastic one. you can think about that as well. I could get the exposure on hit and it'd be great, because right now I don't have my flesh crafter yet. I'm not even using summon skeletons with the mage skeletons yet, so I'm still working on that. Get the gloves that you want the roll. Like, if you want to look it up, I'm just gonna Ecor Orb. I forgot the website I used for this. I think it was this one. Okay, so there's multiple websites for this, but I think this is the one I actually really liked. Okay, here, let me link this one also. What the heck? It's do this. Okay, there we go. So it's vhpg.com, or you can just type in Google Greater Eldritch Ecor. So what you can look for is some sort of modifier. Like, it'll show you where you can actually drop these. As you just climb up in the maps, they'll eventually just start dropping. This is actually a good way to farm for currency, but it shows you kind of what it does. But what you're looking for, let's say I was looking for gloves, right? I could just type in gloves, and I can see what it will give me on gloves. And like, again, it's like, I think it was like 1 in 70. Like, there's like so many modifiers, right? So I don't know what character you're playing with. Like, for me, and if you're following this as a guide, yeah, we want minion damage for it. So we get gloves that roll with minion damage or whatever, and then we'll modify them. That's the only one that really matters. You can get boots that do something, but specifically, the gloves are usually big for a lot of different builds. There are things for immunities with even helmets. Like, you want to get this on most of your PC gear. Now, it does not work with uniques. I don't have any uniques. This is a unique item. So when it's in like the gold, you can't modify those, unfortunately. I wish you could. That'd be pretty sweet. Last time we were able to do that was like Scourge, where we can add more like implicits, which was a cool feature. But yeah. So pretty much, we're looking to get those orbs. That's kind of like the next step in upgrades. Also, another step in upgrades. Well, we definitely need to get better body armor, but we're just going to have to farm up. We've been running trash gear for a long time, and the build's still really good. This is like the only thing that's kind of expensive. Like I said, it was like 40 chaos orbs, which it's like realistic to farm for most people, even on their first time. Again, just keep on doing heists if you really want easy, fast currency. I'll probably make more videos on heist, because I really recommend it. It's one of the best ways to farm, honestly. But we could definitely get way better armor. But also, once our gems reach level 20, we can take them to the vendor with a GCP, and I'll show you that later. So all we do, when the gem is reached level 20, we take one of these, the Gem Cutter's Prism. We take one of these, let's say, like, let's pretend, well, this one technically I bought, it's also level 26 because of all the modifiers that we have. But like, let's say this was level 20. I go to an NPC, I put in the gem that's level 20, and then also put in this. It's going to reduce the gems level back to level 1, but it will have max quality. It's the cheapest way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to buy these. They're about three of them for 1 chaos, but you want a quality to up all of your gems, and then you want to corrupt them, which basically randomizes if it's going to be good or if it just basically ruins the item sometimes. It won't really ruin the gem, though. It'll probably reduce it by level 1 or reduce the quality by like 3. But the main thing is that, like, you want to actually upgrade all of these, because every single one of these, like, from the effects of the quality, I get 10% increased lightning and physical. So that's basically 20% extra damage if I max out the quality. So 20% damage here. The absolution gets up to 20% more damage. It's corrupted, so I can't really modify it. The control destruction, another 10% spell damage. This one over here, another 10%. So like, all of this will add up to more damage. And on top of that, we'll talk more about the cluster jewel as well as getting Dead Reckoning. But that's kind of an expensive item. I hope to get it in the future very soon, so I can show you guys how good that is. Because we're a Skelly Mage build, but we can't play with Skelly Mages until we get the item. So we need to get a jewel socket. You can think about getting this one over here, but that item, it'll go down in price. Like, it's fine. In a couple days, it'll probably be very, very affordable. It goes to like anywhere from like 5 to 10 chaos orbs, but it's, you know, obviously required. Or you can stay with absolution. That's totally fine. If you're like, dude, I like this build, it's fine. But the other build, in my personal opinion, is way better. The reason why is, with absolution, I have to cast every single time because these minions are not permanent. Now, the summon skeletons aren't permanent, but you literally push a button, the skeletons come out in large packs. You basically cast it 2 to 3 times, depending on how many skeletons you're allowed to have, because there's modifiers to give you more skeletons. But you basically just cast them, and then they just clear stuff up off screen. It's way smoother. And then we'll also be looking at getting what's called a flesh crafter. We'll get a 6-link one, but we'll probably start off with a 5, and we'll slowly go into all of the items. But that's going to wrap it up for pretty much this part, so I want to keep these like a little bit short, but keep on doing maps. If you run out of maps, remember, you can buy them from Kyrek. You can go to the Path of Exile trade website. You can see I'm trying to buy more maps now. Like, I need certain maps, so I'm just going to start buying them. So keep on grinding, and you will eventually get there. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this part. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it, and I'll see you guys in the next part when we hopefully will have some better gear and upgrades to show you guys.